ear-piercing scream opened like a knife blade, waking me from my slumber. Aghast, I jolted upright in bed. An unsettling feeling engulfed the room, and I reached for the light. With a sudden brute force, the wind smashed the window open and slammed the door shut. The light started to flicker. I trembled. My bedside clock had frozen exactly 2:07 a.m. whilst my wife was snoring sound asleep, oblivious to the scream. I started to think, what could that scream be? Surprised and confused, I sprung out of bed. I needed to see if my little girl was alright. Bolting to Daisy's room, I thrust the door open, and there she was, sleeping like an angel. My lovely daughter Daisy. Silence spread across the room. "Daisy, are you alright?" I whispered. There was no reply. Checking to see if she was still breathing, I hovered over her. In relief, I walked away baffled. Relieved that nothing was wrong with Daisy, I returned to my room. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang coming from Daisy's room. I snapped my head back sharply to see what the noise was. It was Daisy, standing 2 meters away from me. Her eyes were red, rolling into the back of her head, looking possessed. She had climbed over the fallen cabinet and held a sharp knife, gripped in her left hand, running towards me. Flinching in fear, I quickly slammed the door to my room shut. "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," she uttered slowly and quietly, banging her head on the door. Daisy dropped the knife at the door and slowly walked back to her room. Peeling my hands off the door, finger by finger, I slowly opened it and checked in the hallway to see if she was still there. She was gone. I got into bed, feeling anxious at seeing Daisy's actions. I could not sleep, shuddering at every sound and movement around me. Morning came, my eyes were bloodshot from keeping them open all night. The whole day I was shaking from that night. The sun went down and I got into bed horrified, wondering if it would happen again. The hands on my clock froze at exactly 2:07 a.m. again. The wind was howling outside. The same ear-piercing scream woke me from my uneasy sleep. I rolled over to find my wife disappeared from the bed. "Daisy," I screamed at the top of my voice. "Yes, Daddy," she quietly whispered in the corner of my room. "Where is she?" I yelled at her. Daisy did not reply. I ran around the house. I had to find her. Daisy was up to something. Panic engulfed me, as I could not find her. Suddenly, I heard a loud thud coming from the basement. Little did I know, when entering the dark, eerie basement, that thundering thud was the breaking of my wife's neck on the thick, twined rope. Blood began to pour from her mouth, as her body was accepting death. Bloody footsteps were scattered all over the walls and on the ceiling of the basement as well. My eyes were peeled open, watching the basement to see if anyone was in there. I took a glimpse at the back of the basement, and I could see a shadow. Fear filled my body as I slowly got closer and closer. I smelled the horrid stench of my wife's dead body. The shadow screamed at me. It was the same scream I had been hearing the whole time. I sprinted and grabbed the shadow. It was Daisy. She did it. She killed her own mother. She said she didn't do it, but I know it was her. She had blood all over her hands and spattered on a long white dress. I kept accusing Daisy of killing her mother, but she denied it. There was a demon inside her. Daisy's eyes turned red, rolling into the back of her head. The demon had taken over her soul. I tried to run away from her, but she latched onto me before I could get anywhere. Cornered, I stared straight through her red demon eyes, and the taste of blood rushed through my mouth. The time 2:07 a.m. appeared before my eyes for the final time. Then the snap of my neck filled me with darkness.